most people out there think, oh, selling is a bit of a dirty word, blah, 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 blah. Recruitment is a sales job, and I'm proud to be a salesperson. Salespeople are what makes the world go round. You know, we make stuff happen. What I always aim to do is create business friendships. I don't want my customers to think, oh yeah, he's a decent trainer. I want my customers to think, yeah, he's a great trainer, and also he's a really good bloke and we really like him.
Welcome to this another episode of Pints of You. Here with your host Gary Goldsmith in the Cavendish on New Cavendish Street. And now today, this is quite the joy. I'm joined by my oldest friend in the world. He's not the best, he's just the oldest. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to everybody my friend Llyod Moore. Cheers, Lloydie.
Cheers, GG. Happy took us.
Happy took us. Oi, vey, bubbler. The boy from the thumb.
Indeed.
We've got, there's so many things we can do. Given the whole mantra and the raison d'etre of the podcast is me in a pub with a mate, most times I'm generally in control of these situations. And today I'm absolutely slightly nerved by my blue-eyed beauty. Now, for those of you who don't know, Lloyd is a recruitment legend, but it's best that I start, as I always do, with a poem.
Marvellous. Dude, I'm sitting down, really, isn't it? Okay.
Ready? Llyod Moore, unquestionably a recruitment sage, succeeded in the industry for nearly 4 decades. Hunter skill, Dart, and then S3, a lifelong recruiter, nearly as good as me. If money's the scale.
Sure.
Now a sales trainer extraordinaire, nationwide presence, his knowledge is rare. Flora and fauna in his veins, in the garden where his passion remains. Chelsea beer and music, his guilty pleasures. For nearly 40 years, our friendship measures. A funny soul, long distance runner, I introduce Llyod Moore, a great bloke who once was a stunner.
Ooh. Well, Gigi, that's some of the nicest things you've ever said about me. I'm almost tearful.
Yeah, I just basically said you were good looking once.
Once upon a time. Yeah.
It's not now.
It's 4 years in the industry, mate. It's what it does to you. It just ruins you.
Washes with acid.
Indeed.
Right. So, cheers, mate, for making this all from the Reading RG4.
RG4.
Okay.
Yes.
Which is Caversham Heights.
Don't you know?
RG1s.
Oh, that's a flashback. Yeah, straight away.
Yeah, okay,
let's not go there.
That's an old nightclub.
Yeah.
There's so many things we can talk about today, and we need to touch upon loads of them.
Okay.
Your recruitment backstory, from Dart to S3, getting the phone call, what we did at S3, how we built process into a fairly random industry and how we took on the world. All the stories.
Okay.
You try the cowboys, now try the Indian. Right, there's some shitty.
I'm not sure we can get away with that one anymore.
Well,
GJ.
we're going to go for it because literally, but everyone has tried to block me, but that never worked. We talk about how the sector's changed. Life lessons and staying relevant. Sorry. That is quite windy. Life as a sales trainer now. And a coach, and keep yourself relevant and on point as the markets keep changing. And the fact that pretty much everybody who's a sales trainer in recruitment are shit. So
I couldn't possibly comment.
It's okay. I will. How you've maintained this lifelong friendship because you're good at it, and I am
shite
at it. And then we talk about anything else that I've missed.
Okay, sounds good.
Is that all right?
Sounds great.
You're up for this?
I am. We'll just die for this. Not that up.
You're ready to die for this. Okay, so that I remember I was still fairly junior at Dart.
Yes.
Johnny Ray Pullen Love Muscle was my boss.
Yeah.
he was younger than me. I rocked up and was setting the world on fire, and we had a phone call. So back in the days when people just turned up on your desk, and nobody had told you, or you hadn't been involved in any selection process.
Right.
There's a new person joining.
Right.
And we were expecting this black Rastafari turning up, giving the old gimp walk, turning up, called Llyod Moore.
Right. Yeah.
And then this pasty bloke from Reading turned up. He was incredibly handsome, and I think you were 19 at the time. And I don't say you. I'm not going to say you were saying in it, but you were not far off. Weatherspoons was literally a dreamy night out for you.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about how we first met and your experience of joining a recruitment business?
Sure. Okay. So, I mean, my background prior to joining Dart back in '89 was selling advertising at the Reading Evening Post. So if you wanted to sell your card, and I'd sell you a sort of car-shaped box for £18 a night. I can smell your envy from here, as glamorous as it sounds.
But you do remember that's how Russell Clement started, how Sunil and Daily it was all selling.
It's interesting.
Media.
I mean, the Reading Evening Post was owned by Thomson, and Thomson Training was, and I think presumably still is, really, really good. So I learned about factor advantage benefit and USPs and closing. And I mean, it's interesting. I was. It took me about four or five interviews to get the job. Mainly because they didn't think I'd be a good cultural fit at the Reading Evening Post, and that's mainly because the telesales department was me and 48 female co-workers. So I somehow managed to persuade them that I could, join in there and benefit from the training and all that sort of stuff.
Makeup parties, Tupperware.
No, but closing. I used the closing training to try and get as many dates as I could with. I mean, why wouldn't you when you're an 18, 19-year-old dickhead? But then I moved into sort of the SITS-VAC pages, and from there, one of the companies, SITS-VAC, situations vacant. Oh. You remember that, Gary? You're not that young.
I just remember 12 by 2, but half pages. I don't know it. Hi everyone, and a massive shout out to our main sponsor for season 4, the recruitment special of Pints or View. Now, Force 24 are exceptional. They do something that nobody else does, which is always pretty cool. If you're looking at sending out outbound email campaigns, multimedia messaging, including video and infographics, nobody else can do this. Everybody else sends out flat words. So your likes of Sourcewell and Elay can't do this. Force 24 do something special. Well, I use them, the RDLC uses them, and anybody who's taking their marketing really seriously will be using them. It's very clever. It's just a game changer. I like it. You should.
One of my clients was Dart, and basically the contact at Dart said, you should try recruitment. I said, oh, all right then. So I came along for an interview with Stumpy Heath, and Stumpy hired me. He said, oh, you're going to join the contracts team. I said, that's fantastic. Didn't have a clue what contracts was, didn't know anything.
Can I just say that so Mark Heath is our lifelong friend.
Yes.
And an absolute legend. And that was the best thing he ever did for you.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I think it's spot on, G. Yeah, I mean, I think he obviously saw some potential in me. I think also, in fairness, I think Dart probably, hired any old Tom, Dick or Harriet that was willing to sort of pick up the phone and put it about a bit, which, you
Sorry, Tom, Dick or Harriet who had put it back about. I'm just wondering where you're putting the comma.
Anywhere. Comma. I'm lucky if I can find a comma these days, mate, let alone put it anywhere. So no, I started at Dart, and you're right. I think, was I your first ever junior? Yeah, I thought I was, because it's echoed in your management style. Yeah. No, I mean, I joined Dart, and I mean, do you know what, G? Getting old. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I don't think it's got a great deal going for it.
I've yet to start.
Indeed. But I think one of the few good things about getting older is just hindsight. And you look back now and you realise you're surrounded by, you, JP, Scotty, Dave Lucas, all these guys who were just really good.
Can I just say that list goes on? Chris Bartlett.
Yeah. Well, Chris was gone before I joined, actually. Chris had already gone to start GCS.
So Larry Currit. We had Mick O'Flynn.
Yeah.
We have...
Seamus.
Seamus, with David Alexander, the worst human on the planet, but what amazing coach.
I never got on with him, so
yeah, nobody ever did.
We'll agree to disagree on that
I've never
one.
met anybody that gets 2 Super Supremes, put one on top of the other, and eat it like it's a sandwich. There was a reason why it was actually quite large.
He was a big lad. Yes,
he barely fitted in my Lotus Esprit, but without him, I wouldn't have got a Lotus Esprit. Yeah.
Oh, you had a Lotus Esprit when I joined, mate. You didn't need Dave Alexander to get you that. You did that off your own back. But I mean, look, the point is that going into a team that was just a load of blokes who were kind of up for it. And I mean, from my point of view, I learned so much just via osmosis, being sat opposite you. I mean, you just pick up loads along the way, including how to pronounce Siobhan. Apparently it's not so Oberhan.
Were you going there already?
Yeah, totally.
We used to, like James, the only person I explained it to, we used to have a card box, and we were so confident in our pitches, we used to basically just hold the over the card box, the name, phone the number, and when they pick up, just lift up and see who you've called. And then we just pitch it, because that's how confident that we were, and the games that we used to play amongst ourselves. And do you know how Siobhan is spelt?
Yeah.
CIAOB, loads of letters. Anyway, so I've just said, can I speak to Siobhan? Siobhan. Siobhan. And she goes, it's Siobhan. I went, can I speak to her then? He goes, speaking. Put the phone down. Right? And he was there watching it going, oh, that is really weak. Gal, that is really lame.
Quality. Different level.
Different level.
Yeah, I mean, so I think Dart...
Can't believe you brought that up, by the way. That's really hard.
Of course I'm going to chuck it in there. I've no doubt it's going to come back at me.
So Lloyd did one as well. He's varnished. And we went, varnished? He went, yeah, like the old oak table. He meant vanished, but said varnished, and then just leant into it.
So, well, why not? He's a custard cream short of a Rover selection box was another one, as I recall, from back then.
Hope you have a lovely weekend. It's Monday. Yeah, sorry, I'm on the wrong page of my diary. I don't know what I wrote. But okay, let's stop picking on each other.
Yes, it's good go south. No, so I mean, in truth, I think I did okay at Dart. I mean, it was the first couple of years. I think I got to like 14 runners, and I just learned loads, and then was lured down the road to hunter skill. So, I mean, firstly, the commute from Reading to Slough every day is dreadful. The commute from Reading to Maidenhead is slightly better, but they also gave me an extra. A whopping extra £1,000 on my basic salary, which I think took it up to £8,500. So I then went from Dart to Hunter Skill. And what was interesting actually is that Hunter Skill as an organisation was, I don't want to say they're more professional, because I think that's the wrong word, but they were a lot more kind of regimented. You could see that they had a PLC backing. Yeah, and I learned loads there. I was very fortunate to go from under your sort of tutorage to a guy called Ross Eads. And Ross is now the chief executive of Red Global. And Ross is still a close friend of mine as well. But I think, if I'm honest with you, I think Ross probably knocked a few of the rough edges off of me. Just kind of helped me to, I suppose, develop that bit more. Did a couple of years at Hunter Skill, but what I would say about it is, whilst I, like the guys and the team there, it wasn't that sort of band of brothers, sort of esprit de corps that was at Dart.
Do you remember what time we used to get in? It's like 7 o'clock.
Well, yeah, but in fairness, mate, that was mainly from my point of view, because the traffic was bloody awful.
I thought it's good that we were all having a really good time, and we all got in early just to have an hour and a half of just like chilling out and playing games.
Well, yeah, sure. That was definitely it. Yeah, nothing to do with the M4.
Oh, I did love work. I did love.
We did have some great times, didn't we? But then, I did a couple of years at Hunter Skill, and if I'm honest with you, I kind of, again, I did okay, nothing spectacular. And I was kind of getting to the point where I'd been doing the job for about 4 years, and you just kind of think, well, is this for me? You know, I always wanted more than I was getting. I mean, I don't know, okay, I bought a flat and all that sort of stuff. But I just wanted a bit more. And I think I was probably getting, I mean, you phoned me with the Computer Futures gig, probably at a time where if I hadn't have taken that, I'm not sure I'd still be in the industry. But I think you'd left Dart and then you'd gone to, I'm going to say, was it Trident?
No, I went to CTA, so I learned how to do...
Cathy Tracy, yeah.
So I went to Cathy Tracy to learn how to do search, and then went to VNG to work out how big organisations work.
Yeah.
And I guarantee hopped during the bleak times,
yeah,
so that I was fit for purpose.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled across this opportunity,
yeah,
and I went... And I negotiated as part of my onboarding the fact that I could take... 2 people and I nicked 3, and there were 2 phone calls that I had to make, and one was to you,
yep,
and one was to JP,
yep,
and just said, I've just landed across a seam of gold.
Yeah, I mean,
just trust me, but this is, and I've got a plan.
Yeah, I remember that call quite clearly, actually. I mean, you phoned me and just said, look, I think I've fallen on my feet. I think there's a real opportunity to make a few quid, and I was at that point where, as I said earlier, you know, I wasn't quite at the stage of like, fuck it, but actually, fuck it, why not? I think I was, 23, the opportunity to work in the West End. And I went along, I mean, I remember going along for the interview in Conduit Street, number 2 Conduit Street. What it doesn't, what you can't see from the street is actually what it said, what it should say on the, over the door there, which is, you know, best fucking job you'll ever have. But if you remember, we were on the, Computer Futures had the 4th and the 5th floor. 4th floor was perm, 5th was contract, and then there was the modelling agency on the 3rd floor. And I came for my interview, and who's in the lift with me? Barbara Windsor. Well, I mean, for God's sake, if that's not a sign that this is the job for you, I'm not quite sure what is.
Do you remember who used to pick up all these CVs, these girls who walked out, obviously, in floods of tears, then throw their CV on the floor? Special skills, roller skating. It's like,
to be fair, roller skating's quite tough.
And when I say contract was on the 5th floor,
yeah, well, it wasn't, though, was it?
It was admin and accounts
and interview rooms,
and we had 4 desks that were squeezed in
with Fiona Glenister up there, who used to slam the door like 8 or 9 times a day to just shut out all of the. I mean, it was like a zoo.
And Kevin Ginsberg, who was the financial controller, basically used to call him the sniper.
Yeah.
Because every time anyone said something, he'd say nothing for an hour and then come up with a really funny line.
Absolutely.
And destroy us all.
Completely. He just slipped that sort of dagger right through your heart.
So fun. Yeah. But we lied and cheated in those days. Should we talk about some of the dodgy things we did? Well, how about phoning up all of your mates who worked for other recruitment companies and just said, who works on contracts in your company who you hate the most? Can I have one of their vacancies, please? And then say, could you also send me some candidates?
Now, Gary, I would never resort to such underhand tactics to secure a job. The quality of my client relationships meant I never had an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that. I know.
That was quite funny. That was also during the time. So it was myself, you.
Yep. Toddy.
Johnny Ray. We inherited a Todd Meister.
Yeah.
Who was, and then we had Anil Chandel.
Yeah.
And I was doing a client visit one day because we didn't really like doing client visits because it's an hour there, hour me, and hour back.
Yep.
It's basically a half day out of the office. Yep. And it costs us money, and there was no guarantee. So you couldn't do a client visit unless you guaranteed something. So
yes.
I was doing a client visit. We had rules, right? And we should talk about the rules. And you guys went to do, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it, Lloyd. I'm strapping in. You guys went with Simon Arbour to do an advert for Capital Radio.
Oh my God.
And for some strange reason that I didn't have any artistic or creative control, it was out of my hands because Simon said, I got this. And you did this really random thing where you did your own sound effects, like with a ruler going, and I think the narrative that went out on the airways was, you Computer Futures, you tried the Cowboys, and then Anna went, now try the Indian. And I went, oh my God, when it came.
But Gary, look, the point here is,
Save me.
No, mate.
Because that was so shocking.
Here's the thing, okay? You might say the advert was poor, and you might be right with that. But the amount we spent on that advertising meant that we got an invite to the Virgin Radio Christmas party, and that was fucking amazing, right? So, I mean, the advertising campaign was best described as, somewhat mixed, but the party was unbelievable. So, yeah, I'd say do it again. If you had the time again, definitely do it.
Oh, it was unbelievable. But we did. It was one of those. It was the period in the time when the industry was forming itself.
Yeah,
it was almost like the coming together of the planets, and all the gas masses were bringing it.
Yeah.
Can I talk about gravity now? All the gas masses were coming together to right, and the kind of the rules were. There are no rules. You weren't supposed to slag off your competition, and we did adverts where all of the competitions were sharks in a sea worldscape. I mean, we just did everything you weren't supposed to do. We just tried because any attention created attention.
Well, I mean,
do you remember Best had the advert on was it Computer Weekly, and they said Best do recruitment better. And then we did one with Computer Future, stole all of their livery, all of what they did, and just said, Bester, yeah. It looked like their advert, but it was just us with all our own phone numbers.
Yeah, it was...
we did everything you weren't supposed to do.
Yeah, but at the same... I mean, I remember, going back to Dart, I remember pulling a contractor out. It was a Honeywell DPS-6 level 64 computer operator. And if you remember that, then you are old, okay? But this guy was working for another agent. I pulled him out, and I got a phone call, an anonymous phone call, threatening to break my legs from the recruiter who I pulled the contractor out from. So
hang on, you mentioned Ross Eads. I've phoned Ross Eads once because he phoned up about Simon Spurrell, who could just got a job with, is it Ron Nodes at Black and Decker?
Oh yes, it was.
And he basically phoned up and just found out that I placed Simon Spurrell, and said to him, the guys are drunk. You can't take him on. He said that could be a liability, but don't tell Gary because Gary will sell back to you. Here's the person, and just wait until Monday and cancel him, and then fuck him on Monday. And I phoned him and went, that is so out of order. That is so out of order. And but well done. Expect one in the post.
So I mean, the story was that it was at DEC, it was at Digital, and you had the best candidate, and Ross knew that you had the best candidate, and Ross sort of phoned the client manager and just said, well, could take him, he's good, but difficult how to put it, but the last time I saw him, he was drunk and he had a black eye. And that was enough to turn the manager off. Now, the point is that the last time Ross had seen this bloke was a contractor Christmas piss-up. So, of course, everyone was drunk. And this bloke was also a frontline prop forward playing a lot of rugby and routinely had black eyes. So, yeah, this sort of taking the truth and twisting it just a little bit in your favour.
But it was quite... so those early days, it was rock and roll. It was fun. It was energy. We were just making calls, we were having rows amongst ourselves and just fighting but who could be good. Yeah. But oh my God, did we grow really fast. And then suddenly, rather than actually just take one person at a time, I just said, right, everyone take one. Yeah. And then we started taking twos. Yeah. And then we take fours. And it just became, they're going to have to find us a new office because we're growing so fast. And our rate of growth. And we did 100% growth every year for 6 years.
Well, I remember starting one year, and the goal I set myself was I was going to do a placement, one placement a week every week, and that was the goal I set. And it got to about April, and I'd done 30 placements already. So I thought, well, fuck it, I'll just double it, and chucked in 107 placements in the year. Which, I mean, I think you pay good money for a guy like that these days, right?
Thought I did. You were definitely on 10 grand.
Yeah, sure. But no, I mean, you made the point earlier about it, sort of the genesis, the gravity, the gases. We would absolutely let's be clear on this. We were in the right place at the right time. I think there's an element of fortune there. But I think what is really important is to recognise we had the right attitude. We had that kind of, we want to be somebody. For me, that was a big thing. I always just wanted to, if you're going to an industry event and stuff, people know who you are, and I'm not sure to go quite as far as get respect off of them, but you know what I mean.
Do you remember when Bill came into our office, that he went into admin and said, is there a chance you could slow things down a bit? because we can't really afford you. So it was self-funded for a long period of time.
That's right.
And he said it out loud in front of everyone. Say, can you slow the growth down a bit? And I went, it's not a fucking dimmer switch, mate. We're either on or off. What do you want? And he went, well, I went, go find some more money.
Yes.
Off you go.
Yeah.
Go find some more money.
Yeah.
And then he came back about a week later, went, go as hard as you want. I went,
lad.
Yeah, well, we hadn't stopped, so good luck.
Well, spend and God will send.
Spend as it's tattooed my tramp stamp.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was an unprecedented period of growth. And I have to say, professional growth as well. I mean, again, my personal journey just kind of got really interesting. And you start just achieving stuff you didn't think you could achieve. And
that's intoxicating. Right?
Oh,
it's
massively.
like an addiction.
Yes, it's a drug, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, once you start doing well, you just want more of it and more of it. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm not sure we necessarily knew it at the time. I don't think we can sit and be smug and go, oh yeah, we were always going to do this. I mean, you might, I probably wouldn't. But we just created an amazing culture and a really aspirational culture.
Yeah, where it's
meritocracy. People want. It's cool to be brilliant. You know, that's the thing. I'll get there in the end, wouldn't I?
Yeah, but we used to talk about it's cool to be good here. So if you do you remember the original rules? So the first deal was done for you.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to buy a pint until you actually just done your first deal.
Yeah. And if you're late, you have to buy donuts, and not those shitty Tesco ones.
They're really
proper
expensive.
Dunkin' Donuts for the whole office.
Yeah, and if you're properly late, then you basically had to take a half day and walk around the West End, and we wouldn't let you in. Yeah. If you're seriously late, then go home and take the day as a holiday. Yeah. Offer your holiday entitlement. Yeah. And why is holiday so important? Do you remember this?
Well, I know it was interesting because one thing, you were really encouraged to take all of your holiday so you could rest and repair.
And the other, and holiday was really important because we needed people to be absolutely at full tilt, and we didn't want holiday to be piled up at the end of the year, because the end of the year is really important how you work your January. Yeah,
absolutely.
And also things like lateness and tardiness and how you dressed.
Cutting people's ties off and stuff.
Oh, and ripping shirts to put. But what did we do when we did that?
We bought them a nice tie afterwards. Of course we did.
Of course we did, right? So the culture was, if you look $1 million, behave $1 million. Yep. If you're going to wear a suit, don't make it a fucking shit one. Yep. Some of the targets and rewards were based about getting Brooks and Hackett suits and nice stuff. And if you can't be bothered or you can't maintain getting in on time, you're never going to get a reward. Yep. Or if you can't do that basic task, why am I going to give you something that's more important? Yeah,
totally.
So if you can't do that, so if you were late, you did the late.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, the late. So, I mean, we should probably so the late was, in those days, of course, all of the advertising was done in newspaper. And you know, having people there late to take the ad response late at night was really, really important, but you just didn't want to have to do it. I mean, and we are talking the days before reliable mobile phones and what have you. So, yeah, you were basically doing the late, taking messages from people either on ad response or just trying to get hold of people who were actually probably in the clacking at the time. Yeah.
But we had an army of Aussies.
Yeah.
That we were paying 10 quid an hour.
Yeah.
Which is more.
Yeah.
So
this is in 1995, 96.
So this is what, you know, people now, that's kind of minimum wage.
Yeah.
Minimum wage there was like 4 quid.
Yeah.
And we were paying them 10 quid
Absolutely.
Because actually they wanted the work. So it was really good work, but they're in the office. They'd run across Regent Street into the pub to give somebody a message to make sure, are you going to see Gigi tonight? He needs to call that guy. He needs to call him before 8 o'clock. How do we get that message to him? Yeah. As opposed to leaving a sticky note on someone's desk. Yeah. People cared about being
absolutely
better than average.
Well, I think one of the things that really different. I mean, we're sort of moving into talking about the culture of the business. One of the things that really struck me when I joined CF, having done 4 years at two other very good recruitment companies, but it was just the level of care and attention and value that was attached to staff. So for me, the thing that always stuck out for me was first time it got to Easter, and everyone in the business got a Thornton's Easter egg with their name on it, and if you had kids, then you got a chocolate bunny with their names on it. Now, that doesn't seem like much. You talk about it now and you think, well, it's just a freaking Easter egg. But it's the message behind it that it sends, that, your family, that we care about you.
Do you remember Christmas? And there was Christmas cards, and if you'd been there for the full year, you got 500 quid.
Well,
and then there was 100 quid.
Yeah, but
and then it was down to 50 quid. And the reason that it started was to make sure that at the Christmas party you had enough cash to get home.
Yeah,
and you could buy a drink.
Well, let's
and a handwritten note from the bosses.
There was. Let's hope that HMRC aren't listening to this. But I I remember having to accompany Toddy down to the bank. In just down on sort of Piccadilly, I think. And Toddy and I walked back with an envelope with, must have been 30 grand in it of Christmas bonuses to hand out. Why on earth they thought I would be a good minder, for Toddy. Toddy's more than capable of looking after himself. All I would do is probably commentate on the ruck and what have you. But it's things like that. It's things like the trips away. It's just stuff that I think for a lot of recruiters today, they kind of hold on. They kind of get a bit entitled and a bit used to lunch clubs and trips away. But for me, the first lunch club, we went to the Gavroche, for God's sake. Unbelievable. First trip abroad that we did was New York. Incredible.
Okay, so do you remember that? So we were quite funny. And I think we were funny as a business, and that this element of entitlement. And at the time, I don't know what you've done to you. Wound me up. You proper wound me up just before we go. Good. I think it was the time you turned around and said, I got more contract runners than you, and I went, well, look at the number at the bottom. Without me, none of that would have happened. So that's my number, and that's your pokey number. And it just so happens I am still running some contractors. So when we went to check in, my old girlfriend was doing the check-in in. Do you remember Janine?
Yeah, oh yes.
So I got everybody, including their wives, into Virgin Upper.
Apart from me.
Apart from you, and I just said, tell him he's not dressed up enough, and he's basically going to bring that down. And then I told him about a year later, I went, you shouldn't have pissed me off that week. Really, really annoyed me. That's me. It was kind of funny though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'd actually forgotten about that. The other one, do you remember going to Amsterdam? And we had, over the whole trip, we had a competition to see who could procure the most outrageously entitled piece of pornography.
Oh my God. Are we doing this? We're not gonna do the baby's arm.
No, not baby's arm. No, I just remember in third place was eels for pleasure. Right. Second place was something else.
Dickie Fisher.
The winner was transsexual horse lovers.
Dickie Fisher.
And we tipped off, didn't we tip off customs that someone had some really moody porn on them when they came back into the country? I
think actually the work, okay, we will call it a quit under this, but I remember Ian Robbins basically bought a baby's arm.
Yes.
And then threw it into
the canal,
saying, my baby, my baby. And everyone was coming around just thinking if they're going to dive in after the baby. But okay, we'll leave that.
Yeah, that's going to be edited.
We had quite a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun, yes. A lot of culture.
So riding horse-drawn carriages around Dublin, God. And you overtaking everybody, and that was really good. So we actually the nice thing about our trips, we built memories. So if you're going to do an incentive trip, don't do it on a minimum budget. Don't do it just because you have to. Do it because the people genuinely deserve it.
Yes.
And treat them like they're absolute megastars, and make sure everything is the most fun it can be. Yeah. Because of those memories, Seville, right, and the maracas, right? God. How many stories have we got? Madrid on the rooftop bars, and Bill and Simon saying they won't serve us drinks. Everyone, empty your minibar now, right? And so there was loads and loads of really good stories. What do you think? So we were growing really fast. Why do you think that we managed to get a business to grow that fast with just using rooks? So rookies.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think this is a really sort of key point, I mean, we with the exception of obviously JP and maybe half a dozen other people, we
accounts,
yeah, sure.
Mainly.
We brought people in without previous recruitment experience, and I think it was, again, just a really smart thing to do. You don't get people coming in with any limiting beliefs. Oh, it's impossible to run more than 30 contractors or any of that old crap. But also you're getting people who are pliable, who will do what you tell them to do. And let's be clear, we had very, very clear sales processes in place that that weren't optional. Let's talk about today. When you filled out a job order form, it had to be signed off by your team leader, who was satisfied that you'd taken a proper job brief, because you don't want to work shit jobs. And I think the other thing, though, that again kind of fed off of that was just the sheer loyalty that we got from people. People would join the business, they'd start to make a few quid, but they'd love working there because we did have fun, but they didn't tend to go to a competitor. One or two exceptions, obviously, along the way, but for the most part, I think our average length of service for staff, I'd be willing to take the Pepsi challenge against any other agency back in that time.
About 4.
Was it 4 years?
Yeah.
Average? Yeah. I mean, that's
massive.
Bloody good. Particularly bearing in mind, we were really fussy, and if you couldn't cut it, you're out. So people that were good, I reckon it was probably double that.
So I think if you were okay, we made you good. If you were good, we made you excellent. If you're excellent, we made you a director. Right. And that's kind of the vibe. And we wanted more billing managers because the way that the network was created, you had pizza. And if we were 60% of that pizza and the other 10 brands had one new profit center each, we had to open 10. Yeah. So if you're not a billing manager running a P&L within 18 months, you're dead to us. So you got to go really fast. Yeah. And the joy is we let you work weekends, we let you work hours, we'll put investment behind you.
Well, I remember your big mantra at the time was grow or die, and you still use it now, don't you? Grow or die, grow or die. And I think we really we just had that ambition, and I think we probably, I don't know, I always felt as though we were still a little bit that kind of outside kind of oik, that sort of lovable rogue of a business.
No one likes us, but we don't care.
Yeah, Millwall. I mean, hopefully a bit more successful than that mob, but anyway. But yeah, I think that's true. And I think, we used to look at the people like Harvey Nash and that, and just, it's kind of look down our nose at them.
Harvey Gash.
Well, yes.
Yeah, we had names for all of them.
But they were shit, weren't they?
They were rubbish. I remember us, we were stereotypical at the time. I remember we used to go on CFIN with News International. Was it Regroup Elsevier? And we used to go on it with other businesses. Yeah. And eventually they just said, we want to look after you because you're the biggest spenders with us, but we can't have you with anybody else because it's too intimidating, or I think we were just a bit prickly. But I think we actually embraced the whole thing about recruitment is selling. Tell me how you feel, right? So, and we'll edge into the whole sales training piece. Yeah. I think sales has gone out of recruitment because effectively on perm, if you get a half decent CV, let's play the game. Ready? I've got the best CV in the world. Yeah. Hate me, hate my company, hate my rates, hate everything about it, hate my terms, but I've got the best CV. What do you do? I'm
going to hire it.
Okay. On contract, the assumption is you've all got the same CVs. Why'd you give me business?
Well, because I like you. You're absolutely right.
And so there's difference, but how do you create a sales culture? And we were selling. So if you put in front of your customer the perfect candidate and they interview them in the 2-stage interview process, make an offer and a guy takes it, part of that is selling. But if you give someone who's left-handed 50% of the skills as a gimp and he takes them on, now that was brilliant selling. Yeah. And that's the thing. Recruitment is selling. You've got to sell from a customer perspective. You have to make that customer best amongst equals. From a candidate perspective, you have to understand what's good about them and make them shine in what's good about them. And customers love the fact that nobody's perfect for a role. But unless you're trying to sell what you got, you never sell anything.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right, Gary. I mean, recruitment is a sales job, and I'm proud to be a salesperson.
Yeah.
You know, salespeople are what makes the world go round. You know, we make stuff happen. And, you know, I think there's people out there think, selling is a bit of a dirty word, blah, 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 blah. What I see is...
all the people in small houses.
Well...
said it.
Yeah, well, yes. No, I mean, look, I think the point is, for me, recruitment is a contact sport. You know, it's about getting in touch with people. It's about getting them to like you. What I always aim to do is create business friendships. You know, I don't want my customers to think, oh yeah, he's a decent trainer. I want my customers to think, yeah, he's a great trainer, and also he's a really good bloke, and we really like him. And that's always been the case. You know, going right back to the days at you know, at Computer Futures, I used to regularly go out, take my customers out for lunch, take them out on the piss. You know, just treat them really, really well, because you look after them, and you'll get it back. You know, you absolutely will. So I mean, I think that the whole point about selling is people really, I think, do need to understand the relationship between you putting yourself out there, going above and beyond, having those conversations, and actually that for me is the stepping stone towards getting results.
So left S3.
Yeah.
Time off.
Yeah.
Did well. The exit had happened. You're cash rich.
Yeah. And
then reinvented yourself as a trainer, a recruitment trainer.
Yeah.
And what a career you've had, to be fair. That very few people out of recruitment have one decent career. You're on two.
Yeah. Well, I've actually been training longer than I've been recruiting now. So, no, I mean, I left S3. We'd got pretty much to the point where a float was imminent. If I'm honest, I was just a bit tired. I'd kind of had enough of it, really. So, I had to think about what to do, and decided the best thing for me to do was fuck all, you know, which I was exceptional at, I hasten to add. You know, I just had a year doing very little, got the garden looking nice, practiced my golf, you know, got to know the kids again, that sort of thing. But then in the background, I was always thinking, well, what's next? What do I want to do next? And I mean, we touched on it earlier. We used to bring in rookies, and a big part of my job as a director was training up people. And although I didn't actually know it at the time, I was a trainer. That also then coincided with me being asked to do some content for some training DVDs, which kind of, I suppose, just piqued my interest even more in it. So, yeah, decided, actually, you look at trainers out there, and there are some very good ones, in truth, but a lot of them are. There are some.
You're really generous.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a nice guy. But there's also an awful lot of tut. And I just think, from my point of view, again, if you look at, you know, building a really big business. I mean, my business in the south of the UK at Futures was, 250 grand a week GP. Trained hundreds of people, you know, billed $500,000 a year in the days when $500,000 was a lot of money and all that sort of stuff. So I just thought, well, you got the pedigree for it, you got the interest for it. Funny enough, both my parents, I mean, you know this anyway, but both my parents were academics anyway. My father was a professor and my mum was an English teacher. So I guess, you know, is training in your veins? Did you inherit it from your parents? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, that was it. I took the plunge and decided, yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. I had a couple of team friendly mates who said, yeah, I'll let you train our staff. And yeah, I mean, from there, really, it's just built over the years. I'm sure there's trainers out there that you know, train more companies and all that than me, but I've never really had that aspiration of.
No, I think you're. Look, I'm aware of your training and your philosophies. You got people like Mike Wormsley. He talks about absolute dog shit, and if Mike was the answer, he's like the Emil Heskey of football. I'll tell you a story. Emil Heskey was the answer. What a shit fucking question.
I'll tell you a story about Mike Wormsley. Right, when I started, I thought I'll do some Google AdWords, right, just to get it out there. So I basically sponsored Mike Wormsley's name. I sponsored Fiona Lander. I sponsored Rory Ripper. So the point being, if someone, If someone,
I've been slightly sick in my mouth.
if someone put their name into Google, they'd get an advert of mine going, don't try them, try me. And actually, I've had a laugh with Fiona and Roy about it. Mike Walmsley phoned me up. He said, well, Lloyd, I can't believe you've done this. I said, well, why? Why, mate? It's just been commercial. Well, no, but you have no right to trade off of my name. I said, well, I'm not trading off your name. I'm giving people an alternative.
I'm saying you shit.
And he was properly pissy about it. And I said, do you know what, Mike?
That's just cheering me up.
If you're that worried about it, I'll take my tanks off your lawn and I'll take the advert down. What I didn't bother telling him is, obviously, I can see the analytics behind the scenes. And I have to tell you, sponsoring Fiona Lander's name and Rory Ripper's name, good idea. Mike Walmsley had 0 searches in 6 months. So, yeah, go figure.
No, it's quite fun. I think, and also how you keeping yourself on point, right? Because the world is shifting dynamic. I think the world is just getting more like contracts as we ever did it, where you've got to sell a solution, and too many people keep asking people questions. And I don't believe in questioning your customer, because everything is available in the public domain, and you know what their peers are doing, you know where their issues are, you know where the gaps are. So why are you actually trying to chase the wagon in front of you rather than know where the lead wagon's going and cutting them off there? Because that's my theory on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a recruiter in sort of 2023, 24 when this comes out, there's almost a bit of a bewildering array of options and things to think about. I do think that making sure that you're regularly talking to people, you're regularly in contact, having those conversations is really important. And for me, I mean, one thing that most sales trainers won't tell you is, yeah, of course, if someone comes on a training session with me, they're going to learn from me. I hope I'm going to learn a bit from them as well. And when I'm talking to the business owners, I'm going to pick up stuff from them. No one in any training room that I'm involved in, no one has got a monopoly on all of the good ideas, and I absolutely include myself in that. So I think just making sure that you're humble enough to recognise that things are changing, and actually, that 20-year-old graduate probably knows more about AI than I ever will. It's that sort of thing. So I think you have to be humble enough to...
I'm not sure, mate, because their AI is about dating apps.
I need those as well, mate.
Well, let me... the world has changed.
Indeed.
Let me just do a sales training quick fire round.
Okay. No pressure.
Well, I just want you to get it right.
Okay.
Relationships over ability. Yeah, tough one, right?
It's a good question, isn't it?
Right. So I want you to say relationships.
Well, I genuinely was going to go with relationships, because you can be a pretty shit recruiter and still make money if they like you and if you've got a decent product.
What's the ideal number of prospects to be talking to regularly in one patch? These are tough questions I'm giving you.
So I'm going to give you quite a big answer here. It depends on the size of your aspirations and what you want to achieve. For me, look, the point is you don't need.
I'll write down a number.
Okay. You don't need to be doing business with every person that you speak to. That's the first point to make. And actually, any recruiter that wants to deal with every company they speak to is a mug, because you've got to have somewhere to take candidates from. You have your donor clients. I would say if you've got 15 or so companies that are willing to give you exclusive business and they're hiring 4 or 5 times a year, you can have a very, very good desk off of that. But it will vary. You've written down something completely different, haven't you? I could go on. What have you put?
To build a patch, you need 300 to 500 prospect customers that you speak to every month and build a relationship. Yeah. And over a period of time, you'll whittle it down. And in any period, if you deal with 30, you are absolutely smashing it.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is people are still doing spot business rather than actually learning how to actually sell products and solutions and recurring business. Yeah. But a patch is generally 300 to 500, and it hasn't really changed.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's really interesting. I've done a fair bit of business development training recently, and I talk about the old days, and we talked about the card box at Dart, and I think my patch was Slough, so an SL postcode. I had St Albans, Milton Keynes, Sutton, and a couple of others.
You lucky bastard.
Sutton, living the dream, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, Red Hill was the other one. Yeah, brilliant.
RH1.
Yeah.
SL7, Windsor.
This is it. I call it, no, but you had the Reading postcode. But anyway, let's not get bent out of shape about that. But the point was,
RG21, Basingstoke.
the point was, you had to phone every single one of those customers every month. And the one I remember was Express Dairies. I don't know if you remember this. Steve Pikett. Well, Steve Pikett at Express Dairies was an utter bastard, and I had to phone him every single month. And in truth, I was more scared of upsetting you than phoning Steve Pikett and being told to do one. So I'd phone him every month, and after about 18 months of being told to bugger off, he actually gave me a job, and we placed it. And I remember, those
are the ones you want to win, because the ones that actually say fuck off to everyone, if you win them, they carry on saying fuck off to the rest of them.
Well, the point was, our modus operandi, if you remember, was once you made a placement, you had to go for lunch with them. So I had to go for lunch with Steve Pikett, and we went to the Dog and Duck in Ruislip or something like that. And after a couple of pints, different times, I said to him, why did you work with me, Steve? He said, I'll be honest with you, Lloyd. He goes, most recruiters, you're tossers. Right, okay. He said, you're probably a tosser. Right, okay. He goes, but you're a persistent tosser. So being a persistent tosser served me well.
I remember your first ever client visit. We went to
HFC Bank, Anagallia.
And we walked through, and it was the biggest AS400 site in the country.
It's in Winkfield, yeah.
And I was
huge.
desperately trying to impress you as much as the customer. I said, is that the new AS4000? It's a black weapon. It's unbelievable. It's like Knight Rider. It's amazing. She went, yeah, that's the air conditioning.
Air conditioning unit, yeah.
And all you said through that whole 3-hour meeting was, I'll have a hello, goodbye, I'll have a ploughman's.
Yeah.
And then Ortez Green, where you had ribs, and your ribs sprung out of your hand and went into his salad, and you went, sorry about that, and just grabbed it. Everyone went, well, that's
so your top 2 recruiting tips, right? If you're out for lunch with a client, don't have ploughmans, because that's a mess, and definitely don't have ribs. And if you are having ribs, don't throw them in your client's plate of spaghetti, covering them in a thin film of bloody tomato sauce. But now, going back to the question though about you get going around your patch. The amount of people, and I say to them, well, I phone my clients once a month, and like, really?
They can't get around
of course. Well, that's a different matter altogether, having a constricted patch.
And the difference between leaving a message and a message bomb.
Yeah.
Right. So if a message is, please don't call me, I've probably got nothing for you. Yeah. I'm really just...
And taking a bloody long time to say it.
And the message is, I've got your children. If you don't phone me back, I'll send you body parts. Right. Somewhere in between that is the perfect pitch.
Yeah.
And I'm closer to the got your children than I am to I'm shit.
Yeah.
And it's where to find your balance and then repeat the message. But if you only phone one person one time,
they're never going to remember you.
What's the chance of literally... of ever doing business with them?
Well, I just don't get it.
And front of mind.
Well, the thing is now, of course, is that, in our day, Gary, it was we'd phone them once a month. But now you can phone, you can follow up with an email, you can take an interest in one of their LinkedIn activities, you can send them some data. So you've got so many more sort of touching points. And the amount of companies that just don't have a structure for doing that, oh, well, I might send them an email, I might do this. Oh, come on, guys. How on earth are you going to differentiate yourself from the competition if you're not, doing something? Yeah.
Now would you say, so, and we'll kind of get to the end of this, but I don't think there's a difference between the current generation and previous generations. I just think this is really argumentative.
Okay.
I think we've changed about how we manage people because everyone's scared shitless of our own shadows because people leave because they've got more chances and more opportunities in terms of jobs.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that's changed is leaders of businesses are weak, limp, and don't drive betterment, and they haven't got a big enough vision that people... So a proper leader is someone who lets loads of people hang on to their shirt tails and people believe in that leader because they're going to go faster and harder and take them further. Whereas today, everyone just says the kids of today are shit. Yeah. I'm going, no, you're just a shit fucking leader. I mean, with no point, with no purpose or point.
You can't generalise about these kind of things. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not going to. I'm fortunate. I work with some brilliant businesses, and actually, to be honest with you, if you're not a brilliant business, I'm not really that interested in working with you because just frustrates me, and I can't be bothered. So I think there's some really, really good businesses out there. I do think that we are now in danger of having a whole, I suppose, generation of managers, team leaders who haven't had just that really great upbringing that, you know, we were fortunate enough to have, that I was fortunate enough to have, where there is an element of
culture,
you know, where there is an element of kind of treading on eggshells around your staff and that kind of thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with showing your teeth every now and then, where staff are involved. If they can't deal with that, then, you know, it makes you question whether you really need them. At the same time, the motivations of people have changed. I think you're saying you don't think the kids are different. I'm going to disagree with you slightly there. I think we wanted it more. We were hungrier. I think probably because, I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth, but it's at least silver plated. You, I know, didn't. You know, your background is a lot more humbled, and you didn't have a university professor as a dad. And the thing that's always set you apart from other people I've worked with is just this relentless fire inside of you to want to, you know, to be the best version of you that you can be. You know, the businesses that I work with, you know, the Avantis, the Charles Hunters, they've all got people who actually, what they've got in common is none of those organisations have got leaders who are settling for second best. They all want to
actually settling.
Yeah, settling is
I've made a few quid. I'm all right now, and they forget that everybody beneath them hasn't reached that yet. So you settle, everyone's going to leave you. Yeah. Why take a Friday off?
Yeah,
because you want to play golf. Because actually life's all right for you.
Yeah.
So everybody who thinks, why are you giving up?
Mm.
Tallulah has taught me more lessons in business over the last couple of years than pretty much I believed that it was the kids of today ain't as good as they were, and Tallulah's just ripped that fucking thought from my head, and she's absolutely desperately trying to please everyone around her, and she smashes my face in with some of the effort and application she's putting in, because everybody who works for anybody wants to please them. The problem is we as bosses don't raise the bar high enough, and once you've done it once, so a lunch target, it's once they've hit their first target, double it. Once they've done that, double it.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's degrees to it.
You know, everyone wants.
The big thing that concerns me though is it bad then to play golf on a Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's
Might
really
change my week.
Yeah, okay, but you can do what you want because you're, you know, basically you've been retired since you left S3. Right. Big shout out to RDLC, although I'm a big part of it. The RDLC have, in their infinite wisdom, decided to sponsor yet another season, the recruitment special of Pints of You. You must have been living under a rock if you run a recruitment business and are not part of the RDLC. It is the game changer, and it is the best network for people who are aspirational and trying to achieve something very clever. A network, a community, hookups, meetups, the best deals on all of the tech that you actually need. We go kicking the tires so you don't need to. It gives you an opportunity to ratify your decisions, be part of something that's bigger than you, and there's no need to be lonely at the top of a business. Now you've got 300, we are Sparta, against the rest of the world. So it's us against everybody else. It kind of works that way. We've kept out all of the idiots from recruitment, apart from me, but, you know, they need me to make it work. Thank you, RDLC. Hopefully see you soon. Ain't Chelsea great?
Not at the moment, they're not, mate. Shocking.
We're shit. Alphabet soup.
Alphabet soup. Sounds intriguing.
Alphabet soup. Right, we either want an R or a G.
An R or a G. Okay.
Why are pirates called pirates?
Go on.
Because they are.
Beautiful.
We don't need this today. Product placement.
Alphabets.
So there's literally, I'm all over the press at the moment because apparently I'm writing a book that's going to slag off Meghan and Harry. Well, I could, but I'm not.
I was
at
do last week with Mike Tyndall and Zara Tyndall, and Mike Tyndall did a very good job of slagging them off. But anyway,
he's a very funny guy.
Very, very funny guy.
Very funny. Yeah. So, no, I won't have any bad words said about Harry. He just wouldn't make my pub quiz team. Right. So, Lloyd, blop. We choose an R, right? So I always have subject matter.
Okay.
And I've got some ideas that we can prompt you.
Okay.
You can do more than one.
All right.
Rewards. What is the coolest thing you've enjoyed through your success? Regrets. Anything you would generally want to do over? Or reality? Or I can play In Touch with Reality. Right, have you got your... Dad, we're all going to play this because actually I've not had Noah before, and I'm not sure Lloyd would know the answer to any of these. Are you ready for this? Get your get Google up.
Oh, okay.
I'm nervous.
Do you not remember we were on a flight coming back from Manchester, and Banks, we were all sat on different chairs, and Banksy started saying, "In Touch with Reality, Gary, how much is a pint of milk?" And I went, "It's about a £5." He went, "A £5?" I said, "But yeah, first and foremost, you've got to get someone to get it for you." And
Quite
right. So we started doing it.
Very, very sensible.
Right. I'm ready for this. You got to do the searching. Lloyd, how much does a pint of milk cost?
85 pence.
Do you know what? What? And quick up.
You're not far off. It's 90 pence.
Okay,
That's close enough.
He comes from Reading.
Yes, we'll get it cheap and ready.
Okay, in Waitrose, how much is a bottle of Whispering Angel?
Oh,
Wait.
Is this for the? This is for the everyman to see if you're in touch with reality.
Yeah.
You go to Waitrose for Whispering Angel.
Yeah.
If you don't realise the irony, you're too far gone.
It's a fair point.
It's
a fair point you make.
I have no idea. I've not been poor for a very long time.
So you want me to guess the price of which? Okay, I would imagine you are looking at £26.99.
Miles out.
Oh, go on. What do you reckon?
24.
It's £20.99.
Bargain.
Yeah. So I thought that was more
Bargain.
than that.
Okay. How much is how much is a Fortnum and Mason Christmas pudding?
Well, for me they're free because I get sent one by a client every year in the hamper.
Dickhead. Okay, how much is a first class flight?
Oh, hang on. I do want an answer though.
Oh right, okay. £2.5 grand.
No. What are you talking about?
Fortnum
Christmas pudding.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking about the hamper. Sorry.
You're not getting £2.5 grand hampers. You're not. Your sales training is all right. It's not that good.
Yeah, fair point. Okay, the Christmas pudding from Fortnum and Mason.
30 quid.
I'm going to go £42.
Oh, he's good.
What's that?
This year's King George is $44.95.
Okay. I'm a British Airways first class flight to New York City. How much am I?
You see, I never got first class because some wanker stitched me up.
His eye.
£4 grand.
Bit more.
I can't find that answer out without a date. It's going to be very date dependent.
Okay, literally. January the 15th.
January 5th. You have to come back to me on that. I'm going to have to go on to Travago.
Right, so while you're doing that, that's the best producer I could get for the money. Running.
Yes.
So you juggle up.
Well, I have in the past. I genuinely need to get back into it. But yeah, I mean, I over the years, I don't know how much I raised for charity, but it's quite a lot. Just doing half marathons and marathons and that kind of thing. I think my big thing really is that I started running mid to late 30s. And what started it actually was Martin Wright. And Teeny is a friend of ours from S3.
She's on this in a couple of weeks.
Is she? Well, tune in for that 'cause she's amazing. But Martine sadly lost both her legs in a July 7 bomb attacks. And I think for me, for years, I've had stuff bouncing around in my head saying, oh, I should really do this. I should really do that. Oh, I'd really like to run a half marathon one day. I'd really like to. And you know, with what happened to Martine, it just crystallised in my mind. I just thought, here's an idea, Lloyd. How about you stop talking about the stuff that you want to do and actually just get out and do it? So I entered the half marathon. I raised the Reading half marathon, yeah. And I raised probably about, I don't know, $3.5 grand for Martine. I've still got a card from Martine just thanking me for raising the money and stuff. And yeah, it was important to me to do that. And then I suppose once me being a competitive arsehole, once I did it once, and I did it something like, I think I was 2 hours and 1 minute. And I thought, well, I've got to beat 2 hours. So I came back the next year and I did it 1:56. And I mean, I ran Reading probably about 10 years on the spin.
I love the fact you're not actually looking at me because you're getting tearful.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, one thing I found as I get older is, I do get emotional about stuff. Yeah, that's right. I turn on the waterworks very quickly. And again, you know, I ran London. I ran the marathon in London, and that was for my mum who had Alzheimer's. And again, I just wanted to do something. And it's funny. I mean, I don't talk a lot about my running and that kind of thing, but often when I talk to someone or they ask me about it, and I say, you know, this is what I've done, they're like, oh, I could never run a half marathon. And I always think, well, if something matters to you enough, you bloody can. So I think running's brilliant. I actually enjoyed the training. I think when you're running, for me, I don't run with music. I just plod around sort of South Oxfordshire, doing my own pace. And for me, you get a lot of answers to questions that you've got in your mind. You get a lot of ideas and that kind of thing. The last couple of years, I actually had quite a serious operation on my big toe, would you believe? And that's, yeah, I know. You laugh, mate. Don't ever have an operation on your big toe. And by the way, that's not a euphemism. But it's
this was going in a different direction.
I wondered how we're going to segue out of the emotion there. You've done it beautifully.
Yeah, I know. No, it's just stopped me from running, basically, and I need to get back into it. It's taken a long time to heal. So.
Should we talk about gardening as well? Because obviously, from your dad's and the I remember I had a row once because I said flora and fauna, that's animals and plants. And you went, they're different types of plants. I went, I should know. You went, I probably do know.
Yeah, bless him. Yeah, so I mean, Dad was a professor of plant science. His area of expertise was how plant life colonises land, which is reclaimed from receding glaciers. Fascinating stuff. I'm sure he'd agree. He'd be very busy now if he was still alive and still doing it. But the funny thing is, everyone says, oh, you must have got it from your dad. The thing is, our garden at home was massive, but Dad had like hardly any interest in it. Poor Mum was the one who was doing all the gardening. You know, Dad, the garden was a bit of a busman's holiday. But I think the thing is with me...
You got beautiful gardens. The last house was a beautiful garden.
What, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, mine are, yeah. Yeah, obviously. Well, I've just moved into a new house, as you know, and the garden is an absolute shithole. So,
and also, you've got Darth Vader in the window. What was that all about?
Mate, scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think anyone knows what we're talking about. No. You sent me a picture of the new house, and I just said in the top bedroom, "Is that Darth Vader?"
It bloody looked like
and
it.
It was just some sort of shadow effects that was going on the window.
Houses.
I am your father.
That's it.
Oh. Right, let's keep it light. Let's go to a desert island because I've taken him down a dark place here.
Darth place.
Yeah, a Darth place. Right, so Lloyd, this is quickfire round.
Okay.
By the way, sorry, 15th of January, there's no first class flights. You can get upper premium for £2,508.
So 4,000 for first class. There you go. I was right.
Okay. Well, I'm not going then. I'm supposed to be actually flying out there. No, I'm not doing it in sheep and cattle. It's the one thing in life I don't turn right on an aeroplane. All right, aeroplane. Right, quick fire round.
Mm-hmm.
One wish.
One wish. I wish Chelsea would sort their lives out. They are an absolute shambles, aren't they, at the moment? Just dreadful. Yeah.
Okay, giving your links to the Jewish community. Didn't think you're going to go there. Ant or Deck?
Oh, I think Deck. I think he'd be a right laugh on a night out.
Well, you think Ant? Ant's the wrong one.
Did I get them the wrong way round?
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant Ant.
Yeah. Daddy or chips?
Chips. You don't get a figure like mine by swerving chips, GG.
That is brilliant. Which is the best child you got?
I'm not answering that.
Yeah, you can. Bill just said he has equal contempt for all of them.
Yeah, I think Bill's right.
And I think Logan put it right. He goes, it depends.
Yeah.
Which keep them both on their toes. One prediction.
I predict a riot.
It's all going to kick off.
I know.
But actually, we should be talking about music. The best moment you've ever had, and you can't mention kids, marriage or divorce.
Best moment I ever had. Do you know what? I was in the front row in Munich and I heard the ball come off of Didier Drogba's head into the back of the net. And I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what happened after that. That was, yeah. I mean, there was grown men like crying and weeping over one another. Yeah, it was brilliant. Munich, fabulous.
Then is why I scored a fucking great
goal in the San Siro. Were you there that day?
Yeah,
you
I was with you. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we were off our tits on coffee shots.
Yeah,
because that's the
an alcohol-free beer.
Oh, what a horrible day!
Yeah, we assumed it was
one guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Oh, early Genesis, bit of prog rock. I do really like a bit of early Genesis, Peter Gabriel stuff.
So it's
not winning me any prizes in the call.
We had Sir Carl Jenkins here, and he's soft. What was the band called? Soft Machine.
Soft Machine.
Soft Machine. Mm. Yeah. So he's but you do love your live music, don't you?
I adore music. I mean, I've got a lot of friends who are musicians and that kind of thing. I've got a musical bone in my body, I hasten to add. But I love going to concerts, and unlike going to watch football, I never come out of a concert pissed off. But yes, I love it.
Do you remember Luke at Dart? Luke
Wood? Was it Wood?
What was his band called? Escape from Slough.
Oh, I see.
Escape.
I took Luke's desk because the reason I joined is Luke had left. So I don't really know Luke, but I know he was very musical.
He was really musical as well. And through that period of Dart, I learned the Mac Lads.
Oh.
He's a puff. He does spare me shit. Scissors buff. You can cook, you can sup, you can do the washing up.
Well, I don't know.
Come on, fuck off. Get stuffed. Leave that there. One person you wish you could meet or could have met.
Yeah, this is a good one, isn't it? You see, there's a kind of answer. I would love to play around a golf with Tiger Woods. I think that would be brilliant.
So have I told you my mate did?
No.
Turned up in Vegas, and he's a decent golfer. He's 10 handicap. Turned up in Vegas and said, "Can I get around it?" And said, "Well, the only way to do it is by joining another three ball, another group." So when you end up joining a group, Mickelson, Woods, some other random, and him.
Tough school.
And basically, drop balls. He's playing with Tiger. And Tiger, on the way round, just says that, play well. I play every game of golf like it matters. My life depends on that.
Right.
Everybody else was joining in, having a laugh. Tiger didn't say a word.
Right.
At the end of it, Tiger's a bit pissed off, hasn't played brilliantly. He's actually shit himself for 18 holes. Not one shot did I enjoy.
Yeah.
From he said it was the most intimidating thing he'd ever done. Tiger comes over to him, gives him a hug and said, "Come to my place for dinner tonight. We've got a party, barbecue. The who's who of the world is there." And Tiger couldn't make more of a fuss of him and his wife. It was beautiful, lovely to him, met everybody, invited him around, made an absolute celebrity.
So halfway through that story, I'm thinking I need to change my choice from Tiger Woods, but at the end, he wins the day, right?
He wins the day.
Okay.
But when he's playing golf, he's totes focused.
Very much like you and me recruiting, GG. Very similar, a lot of parallels.
No, we literally didn't take it seriously. I'm not going to go be doing voices. Food for the rest of your life. One food type that you can have for the rest of your life. Okay,
I'm gonna go Thai actually, because Thai for me has got the best of two worlds. There, you got curry, which is great, and obviously Chinese, which is equally great.
Okay,
so I'll go Thai.
We used to go to what was the pub we used to go to before Chelsea?
Jam Tree.
No, the one before.
Come to Revolution.
Then
became the Jam Tree,
and then so it's always a little pad thai every morning.
Pad thai, and even more vodka and Red Bull.
A mantra in life.
Oh, it's going to be a deep answer, this one. Something my dad said to me years ago. And
if you don't water it, it won't grow.
If you don't water it, won't grow. Yeah, that's it. He said, yeah, don't mix grape and hop. No, Dad said to me, he said, look, when you're walking around the garden of life, make time to stop and smell the flowers. And I think, for me, I think that's really important. I think so much of my life I've been in a hurry, on to the next thing. Oh, I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to do this. And actually, before you know it, you turn up and you're looking back and you think, well, blimey, I'm 50 whatever years old now. So for me now, I think just really taking the time to enjoy.
You just think about your Tinder profile there. You don't want to just get the wrong number.
But at least you said Tinder and not Grindr.
Yeah, so that was very.
I should be grateful to you for that. I suppose.
One of the things living in London that somebody once said to me, "Don't do that. Don't look down. Look up, because London is beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Once you look above the shops and you look above the doors, London is absolutely spectacular. So I think your dad's got something there. Right, so we should do some Joker and.
We haven't talked about maintaining friendships, have we?
Joker Riddler.
Joker Riddler. No, we'll do that. Joker and Riddler. Let's do that. What do you want first? A riddle or a joke?
I'll go a riddle, please.
You might regret that. We also have facts.
Okay.
Right. Jokes. These are really hard.
Oh, good.
These are really hard. I am a word of 3 letters. Add 2, and fewer there will be. What am I?
It sounds worrying like a maths question. I was rubbish at maths.
Actually, that's a really shit one.
Is it? What's the answer anyway?
I think I've got it. Can I have a stab?
Yeah.
Some.
Fewer.
Set house.
Oh, that's a great shout.
I am a 7-letter word containing thousands of letters. What am I?
Dictionary.
A mailbox.
Oh.
I think dictionary's got more than 7 letters, actually, hasn't it? Mailbox. It's a bit American, isn't it?
I am not alive, but I can die. I'm not solid, but I can float. What am I? Baby.
I was going to say, is it ice?
Yeah. You were going to say that.
Of course I was.
Brilliant.
We have a joke now.
Yeah. Did you hear about the new shit? I can't even say it.
Shall I give you a joke to help you along?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the agnostic dyslexic insomniac?
No.
Used to lie awake at night wondering if there really was a dog.
That is good.
It's terrible.
That's good. Some people these days are too judgmental. I can tell just by looking at them. Oh, wait, he doesn't like half of them, so that's good. I got into a fight with 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. The odds were against me.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
We go to the last one there. I told my wife she's drawing her eyebrows too high.
She looked surprised.
Yes.
What to do if you get chased by a giant chicken?
Cross the road.
Make a run for it.
Very, very good. I'm going to ask you one question, a factoid.
Okay.
The Anglo-Zanzibar War in 1896 holds the world record for the shortest war, lasting how long? I'll say it again, because there will be some historians here just looking at factual accuracies. The Anglo-Zanzibar War in 1896 holds the record for the world's shortest war, lasting only... It's shorter than you think.
4 hours.
Shorter than you think.
2 hours.
38 minutes.
30.
I mean, that's a fucking...
Yeah, but mate, it kicked off big time in those 38 minutes.
That
It was properly Larry. Also, Zanzibar's, weren't they a chocolate bar?
No, it's actually a pub in Dublin called Zanzibar. They're very next door to the kebab shop called Abracababra.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
True story. Lloyd, is there anything I should ask you about? Because I think there's one thing.
Anything you should ask me about? Go on then.
How the fuck have we been friends for so long?
Yeah, I've asked myself that question many times, Gary. Many times.
So we've had a friendship lasting, well, how old were you? 19?
19, yeah.
So we're bordering now nearly 40 years. Probably.
Yeah, got to be. Got to be. Yeah, getting that way.
So how does, I mean, because you're really good at it. I mean, you just phoned me up just to say you're live.
Yeah.
And then blokes don't need to hang around with each other to be best mates.
No, you're right.
But actually, when something's going wrong,
we
pile into each other like bonkers and just say, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, and actually, you know, I've got friends that I've been friends with for sort of 50 odd years as well. I just think of it a bit like if you're on a train, you know, you're born and you get on a train and you're there with your mum and your dad and brothers and sisters. And then you that over the course of your life, that train journey, certain people get onto the train with you and other people get off. I mean, I think it helps if the carriage you're in is the buffet car, which is where I tend to reside.
Like the bar.
Buffet bar, you know. It's going to be food as well. You need nuts, right? You've got to have sustenance. Anyway, but no, I mean, I think for me, firstly, I'm quite fussy about who I have as like close friends, believe it or not, Gary. And I value people. I value friendship. I think, you know, on this train journey, as I say, people get off. You know, we've lost friends. You know, dear John. You know, we both lost our parents as well. They're no longer with us. And you get other people who are still on the train. It might be in a different carriage, so you don't necessarily see them all the time. Sometimes you have to get off your arse and walk into another carriage to catch up with them.
Or get out of first class, you mean?
Yeah, well, get thrown out normally because you haven't bought a first class ticket. But yeah, I mean, for me, as I said, I think it's just about...
It's worth the effort, right?
It is worth the effort. Of course it is. People are fascinating.
So I think people listening to this will know that we've got proper form and history. I mean, we haven't talked about half the stories.
Oh, no.
And the form and the fact that, you know, we drop everything, get to your dad's funeral and, you know, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And, you know, just we call each other, say this is going on. But, and you just know that someone's got your back.
But it goes back to that old saying, you know, you can't choose your family, but you choose your friends. And I just think that for me, friends are family. I don't see a difference, you know, brother from another mother, whatever you want to call it. And I think again, it probably comes back to being good at recruitment. You know, we talked earlier about relationships. And if you're going to maintain good business relationships, and I think in your personal life, you're also going to maintain, you know, good long-term relationships. So, yeah, I mean, it's for me, my friends are really important. And I think also looking out for one another. You know, we've had loads of good times over the years. Of course we have. But we've also had times that have tested us. And real friendship, I think, you prove when you don't need something off the other person. You just want to be there for them.
You're a beautiful soul, by the way.
Oh, bless you.
Can I say thank you so much for this? I think in terms of the podcast that we've done, the one that's going to give people the most learning and the most practical advice, this is without doubt
At the bottom,
it was absolutely brilliant. I really appreciate you coming all the way in from RG. We'll go for a lovely pizza now, just to thank you, because I know that
I like food.
You like food, yeah. Never walk past a Greg's in your life. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you as a human, as a friend, and for doing this. Can I ask you and afford you the opportunity to have the famous last word?
Oh my goodness. What to say to cap all of that? I mean, we've been friends for 40 odd years. I'd just say thanks for having me on the show. Been always great meeting you, always entertaining, always good fun. Can we have a starter with the pizza?
No.
Okay.
Right, brilliant. Jamesy, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Lloyd is an absolute legend. So if you want some proper grown-up, joined-up, not Mike Walmsley coaching, he's your huckleberry. Peace and love, and we'll see you very soon. Ciao.